Max slider on there too, on the mixer board. And there'll be some others probably coming in. There may be some of you that are like, enough of this and leaving early. I don't know. We're just going to start with a word of prayer, and I'm going to kind of walk through a little bit of an agenda tonight and share in more detail some of these things that are going on. We have different people in the room that are leading out into these different things, and so I want to make sure you know who they are. I want to make sure that to the best of our abilities, we answer questions that you might have. So there's going to be some Q&A in the midst of this, okay? And I'm not going to make you wait to the end of the Q&A time. All I'm going to say is we have 2 microphones here. So even if it's not you with the question, if you see somebody, just raise your hand. If you have a question, just one of you grab that mic and let's ask it so that everybody can hear it. And plus that way the live stream can hear it as well. And let's just see what the Spirit wants to do with us in this room, with this group tonight. So let's just pray, and then we'll get started. Father God, I thank you for my brothers and sisters here. God, thank you for calling us to try to love where we are and to just be a light here in Blount County. I'm grateful for the people that are here, and God, would just work and do whatever you want. May we be sensitive to your Spirit. May we hear. May we obey quickly. God, just bless our time, Father. May we be encouraged by what you are going to do through us and through others, through other churches, other people, whatever it is. May you receive the glory. That's our hope. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, we have a couple groups that are meeting, and so they'll be coming in. The group that I'm a part of, I kind of left early. They're going to finish up in there. So feel free to come on in. Come on in more towards the front, especially if your name's like Gloria and things like that. Come on, y'all. Feel free to come on up somewhat to the front here. And this is what we're going to try to get through tonight. Just an agenda of what we're looking at. But here's why we are here. We're here because God cares about our neighbors. God cares about you, and he cares about the people that are around you. Right? That is just a fact. God cares about our neighbors. I love our church. Walk with Jesus, love your neighbor. So this is just baked in of what the Vineyard's about. I'll say this even before we get anything further. You will hear me at times say words like social justice. That is so far from a political term. That term was used almost 200 years ago by the church to describe the works of the church. No political party can or should hijack that term. And we may need to redefine some of these things, but being social justice means doing biblical things to love our neighbor. It also does not mean that we don't share the gospel. All right, there's famous quotes, to share the gospel in all ways. Use words when you have to, basically. And so it is not, we just do these nice things, but they're still going to go to hell. It's not that. Right? So none of those things are true. The church is called to more, though, than just charity. We're called to do charity. There are things that we do as the church. I see the ministry of like Amy Roberts, who's back here, who leads and heads up our box ministry of the church. There are acts of charity that she gets to see and do. There's things that you all do that are charity. That's great. But we're more than that. And what I hope with tonight is that we will learn a little bit about what God is doing, that you will feel the desire to engage and to act on that. The last thing we're going to do after we work through some of these things is to have different people that are leading out in these different things around and just spots here in the room. There'll be a little map on the screen. And then I'm just going to encourage you to go talk to them and ask them really detailed questions like, okay, wait a minute. What about this? What are you doing about this? And then we're going to leave that extra chair, that extra seat, because there may be an idea that you have that we haven't thought of. I'm positive of it. And so there's going to be another area to it. All right, so that's the agenda. We're going to look at financial justice first. We're going to look then at vulnerable communities, areas of community service, some advocacy stuff, and then just call to action. Fair enough? Cool. All right, remember, interrupt at any point. This QR code will stay up here on the side screens. This is the form that if you're interested to do something with one of these ones, even at the stations, of what you're going to fill out. So we're going to start on the financial one with it. Let me say something that I didn't say this morning that somebody asked me, which I thought was an amazing question that I want to just answer right off the start to this. This thing we're looking at potentially doing, like I am committed, I am all in, but it will not be funded by the church funds. Your offering doesn't, we're not making interest off of your offerings, okay? So let me make sure I make that thing up right there at the beginning to this. There are ways where the church can do sponsorship. There are financial things that will probably be needed. If for nowhere else, I do get a salary. For the church even allowing me right now to explore this is part of that. But we're not going to use funds that you have given to try to do some of these other things. There may be funds that you want to put towards it. Super. But that's not what it's going to do. Okay? So wanted to make that clear because I don't think I made it clear. And somebody asked me, and I was like, wow, what a great question. And I just hadn't thought about that. And so this is where we're at with Alice or Al. All right? When you have a persona, a target that you're like, this is who I want to serve or whatever, a lot of times in the marketing world, we put a name on something like that. But this name has meaning. All right? So Alice is just paycheck to paycheck is what we're really, really talking about here. This isn't a judgment thing. This is part of the stigma we're going to have to work through is that people are like, well, they just work harder, whatever. If you work minimum wage in the state of Tennessee full-time, which they don't do, because then they would have to pay benefits. But if you were to work full-time at minimum wage at the current average rental cost for the whole state of Tennessee, so don't go, well, yeah, John, but that's Knoxville. No, the whole state of Tennessee, you would come up a few $100s short a year just to pay rent. There's no food, there's no insurance, there's nothing for your car or anything else. That's a big chunk. 38% of Blount County, 9% of Blount County falls underneath the federal poverty level. And truth be told, our county is more affluent than many others. These numbers are higher in a lot of other counties. So the 28.5% of Blount County residents have a debt that's in collection right now of around $2,000. Interestingly, I can't prove this, but that's almost the exact same amount that these predatory lenders, the kind of money that people were going originally to get to this point. So 38% are struggling. You'll hear later to hear about food insecurity, but it is happening there. The key thing here is that people are working, but one major incident, their car breaks down, they're working 2 or 3 jobs. And I know I say they, listen, that may be you here tonight. Okay? This is our neighbors. This is us. They're working all day, and then they drive an Uber at night or Grubhub or something else, trying to make extra money, and the car breaks down, and what do? A lot of them, and Chris Sigmund is one of the ones, Chris Sigmund, it's right here, and Karen are 2 of the ones that have been working and helping me on this. Gary Mitchell is in here, I think. There's Gary back there also. He's with the financial coaching part of this. Chris Sigmund especially, and I have spent hours looking into this stuff together. And the guy's a banker at Renaissance Bank. Are you vice president? Is that your title? Grand Poobah? What's your title there? You know your title. What are you, Chris? Market president? Wow. So there, sounds official. We have spent a ton of time looking into this, and one of the things he said is that just people don't have bankers anymore. They can get help. There was people in our church that have been helped that went to predatory lenders who could have gotten help in other ways, and they didn't know it. This is why the financial literacy part is so important. Okay, and so this is what we're talking about, that health issue, that car repair, something happens, and they need something. The survival budget, next click there, my man. Thank you, sir. We made all sorts of signals for the moving the slides and stuff, so that was that one there, steal second. A family of 4 In the state of Tennessee, Blount County, they're estimating needs $74,796. And you can go, oh, it's too much or it's too little or whatever else. Okay, we're not debating about that. This is just what they say is a family of four needs. All right, qualifiers there. One's a preschooler, the other one's in school. I have seen that in their data. The median Blount County income is $62,102. Do you see a problem there? Like, there's a gap of about $1,000 a month for these budgets of what people can do. And we have a biblical foundation to help. We need to do something about it. Isaiah 58, I preached about this one. This is the kind of fasting that God wants for us to do, to take care of people. Micah 6:8, the Lord has told you what is good, and this is what he requires of you, to do what is right, to love mercy, to walk humbly with your God. Luke 4:18, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for he has appointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim that the captives will be released, that the blind will see, and that the oppressed will be set free. I just think it's the heart of God for our neighbors, and maybe for you in this room tonight that are living paycheck to paycheck. When we get to predatory lending, we're talking about rates that are close to right around 300%, plus daily fees. The average person within 14 days goes back and gets more loans. You will never pay this off. It is, I go every Thursday. If you want to know where's John, without a tracking device or whatever else, if you go Thursday, right around about 10:15, right somewhere around that, because McDonald's does not start serving their lunch menu till 10:30 a.m. And I go over to the UPS store, and I wait at 10:30 a.m., and I get me 2 McChicken sandwiches and a large Diet Dr. Pepper, because it's less than $5 total for that wonderfully nutritious meal. And I park, and I look at all of these predatory lenders that are right there by that UPS store. And I watch, and I've caught myself out loud saying, no. Like there's people, I see people walking into these places. Elderly, veterans, single parents. We'll share a little bit about this. Sean's giving me some really good stuff. Sean Withers, who's helping with our veterans part of this. This is what we're seeing. Flex loans were created in the state of Tennessee, and they have been outlawed in 20 states, 10 blue and 10 red. Georgia's outlawed them. But Advanced Financial and these predatory lenders give more money to your representatives in the state of Tennessee than AT&T and Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Why? Because they're one pen stroke away from losing this slavery business that they do. And it's working. Nobody's outlawed it. In fact, if there's an NPR, I can share this link, an amazing 1-hour audio interview on NPR just a couple years ago. No, not even a couple years. This was a few months ago. I know I shared it with Chris and a few others, where a Republican and a Democrat legislator talked about when this was enacted and how their mics were turned off when they started to ask questions. So I still hope that we can outlaw this, but I think we've got to try something different. So it's the next slide. A community development financial institution, that's CDFI. If you hang around me, you'll hear me say these terms. It is a federal type of program. It's not a bank. In other words, we're not taking deposits. We're not doing things like that. We're not issuing checks, savings accounts, or whatever. It is a very focused type of institution that the federal government recognizes. And it can be a for-profit business. We're not looking to do that. It would be a nonprofit. What we're looking to do, probably the next next steps, we need to make sure that the board here, because the board here, even though it's going to be separate from the Vineyard Church, will provide the spiritual oversight. They can help make sure that the board members chosen for this other entity are in alignment with what the Vineyard wants. Okay, that's all perfectly fine, but it's got to be separate from the church for multiple reasons. So a 501(c) is formed that its sole purpose is to help people get the kind of loans that they need instead of going to predatory lenders. It is dependent upon capital. So the more money that we have that we can loan out, the more damage we can do against these predatory lenders. I believe with estimates of where we're at right now, we need about $4 to $5 million, and I think we can put them out of business in all of Blount County. And then we're going to wrap that thing up, and we're going to go to Knox County. And we're going to go to every county in the state of Tennessee, and we're going to go to every state in the union, and we're going to get this stuff just abolished everywhere. That's what I hope. That's what I want to see happen. But we're going to try to start it here. And it's very much a we thing. It's got to be far more than what we can do. But it's dignity-based. I think 15% is a possible. I know Chris keeps saying, hey, let's try to get it lower. Really, the key there is the couple ways we can fund this CDFI. One is through banks that have to do what's called a CRA credit. And this means that basically they're putting money into the community that they get credit for by the federal government. It can happen in ways by they give investments, really low interest loans. So they can do grants or low interest loans. They can provide financial counseling, and they can also be on the boards. So I'd like all three from Chris Sigmund. And then Chris and I met with the CBBC Bank this Friday, sharing with them, and we hope to go to others who care about our community. Renaissance Bank, Chris cares. The people, Mike and all of them there at CBC, they care about our community. But if we can get, say, a $1 million, what's called an EQ2 loan. So it's an equity investment. And basically it looks like, and it's treated as if it's just equity on our books for something like this at 1% interest. It actually opens up other funding options now when we have this. And it just opens up so many more doors. We can start this thing with $500,000, but we will only be able to help about 60 families. But for every dollar we have, we estimate $3.75 of impact from each dollar. Now, will people not pay it back? Yes. That will happen. Part of this, the key thing, is that dignity-based means that we have freedom. There are things that we can do in a CDFI that a bank can't do. Like if you do a sob story of whatever, it could be true, and you go to a bank, they maybe can't help you, but we can. We're talking 6-month, 12-month loan for this $2,000, whatever it might be there. Well, hey, we've had a hard time this month. I can only make half that payment. Okay, like you can work with people. So it's dignity-based. It's relationship-driven. Another key part of all of this is that we're asking people to do financial counseling, to work with these coaches. This is what like Gary does. This is what Karen's already done, and others, is coming alongside people. We have a budgeting class here. It's a good example of this. Crown Financial wants to help. We'll see in what ways ultimately, but they have tremendous material and resources, and that will be one for sure, and potentially other types of financial counselors. Our veteran ones are going to need different types of financial counseling. Same in some ways, different in others. But if you look at the impact, what we're saying on a $2,500 loan is nearly $12,000 in savings that person will save through this. That's how much interest they're paying if they ever do pay it off. It's massive amounts. And this is why when you look at that much money, why 1 out of 5 or so have been sued in just a couple counties north of here by Advanced Financial. Their wages are garnished. You take a title loan, people lose their vehicles. So much damage that comes from that. And so go to the coaching slide there, Samuel. Mandatory financial coaching. Having people walk with them. One of the goals would be you start at a certain rate. If you are continuing to work and you show up and you're with your financial coach, your rate drops. Right? This is one of the ways we can lower the default rate. We will have defaults. We are estimating 5%. Some people have had way less than that. It just depends a lot. There is underwriting. There's software that we will have to purchase that we pay, because what it does is it connects directly with the federal government, with the Treasury, and then what it ends up doing is allows us to get grants for doing this kind of work as well. CDFIs do everything from big $1 million commercial loans to all sorts of stuff around the U.S. We are just leaning into the predatory lending part. Just that. That's why that kind of money can work instead of needing hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, so the coaching is a key part of that. Like I said, next slide, the lower interest and going through that helps, I hope, lower rates. What it also does is helps us do what a CDFI has to do. 60% of the loans from a CDFI have to go to people that are in a low-income tract area. There's 4 of them in Alcoa. Or their income has to be 80% or less of the median income of the area that you're in. So those are called low-income target population. That's the one. That's actually, you're talking about somebody who might be making $60-some thousand a year. It's based upon the size of their family. Making $60,000 and still would qualify. So 60% of our loans need to do that. It's got to be underwritten, so you got to have a job. Okay, you'll have to show some proof, tax forms, things like that. It's all baked into the software. But yes, we will default on some of those. But the goal is to keep that as low as possible by walking alongside people and treating people with dignity. Will we be lied to? Yes. I've had somebody tell me that already today. Well, you're going to have tons of people lying to you or whatever else on that. I understand that. That's not a reason not to try to help, not to try to do something. So that's what we're trying to do. Okay, what questions do you all have? I mean, I've not pitched it like this before, so I'm sure I'm missing something. But any questions that you have about this? Yes, can you use the mic just so the fact that everybody else can hear you? You can, yeah, you just walk right up to there. That'll work. Thank you, Erica.
Are you already plugged in with Operation Hope out of Atlanta?
No, but we heard about Operation. That was the one that, right, Chris? That Mike told us about. So yes.
This subject has been a passion of mine for years.
Super.
And they do an amazing conference, and a lot of the banking industry is involved, and so that's definitely a thing we want to tap into. They may actually be a bit political, I'm not sure, but just they do some great stuff, and this is awesome to hear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can you please talk to Chris Sigmund? Yes, please connect up with him. Okay, listen, my job is to equip the saints. So much of what I'm sharing with you tonight rises and falls on you all. That you all feel like you have ownership and leadership, and then I will do everything I can. I know Amy Roberts will, and the rest of our staff to help you. But if this is left to the staff to do, we won't succeed. And so this has to be led by you all. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I mean, what I hope, Josh, he's saying there's 2 parts to it. The one part is, let's get rid of this. So one of the things you're going to hear tonight is an advocacy group, right? John Wigdor. Where are you at, John? John is helping with that. We need to contact our legislators and say that we can do better in the state of Tennessee. We need to cap this at 36%, which is what some states have done, or we just need to outlaw it, which is what a lot of the other states have done, okay? But I'm not going to wait for that. And so I believe if we can hit that $4 to $5 million part, every one of these predatory lenders in Blount County either have to drop their rates to match us, which great, then people win. Our community succeeds. Good on them. Or they will not, and they will leave this county, and good riddance. So either way, we win on that kind of thing. And so yes, I want to keep pushing on it, but I cannot wait for this. We cannot wait, because these are our neighbors. This is maybe you. We can't wait for legislators, if we've learned anything about the times we live in, for them to do the right thing. Okay, we need to act on it, but there will be a point where we need advocacy, and we need to raise our voice on this. And so that's the two parts that will be there. This is a state thing. Our local government does nothing with this. They have no ability to change any of this stuff. Okay, this is not bound by them. So this is just a state thing. So we need our governor and our legislators to go, we can do better. All right, anybody else? Questions about what I've shared about this, what we're looking at? This is not 100% for sure, but this is where we're going. There's still a lot to be determined, and trustees and other things to go with it. Yes? Casey.
I know you've got the goal of trying to intercept people seeking help and
Yep.
having them come to us instead. Is part of that also paying off the people who already have loans with the predatory lenders?
If we have that capital.
Okay.
Yes, if we have the capital to do it. Here's what I'd love to do, Casey. They've got 2 spots open right now by that UPS store. I'd like to own one of those, or lease one of those, and put up a big sign with arrows that says 300% and point to that place, 9% and with a down arrow. And then just, my background's in marketing. I would love to do some marketing on this kind of thing. Word of mouth. I'm not great at math, but you could have that or you can have this. But yes, that's what I would hope. And I would love for it to start here. Like within our church body, if any of you are caught up in a loan that's like this, first of all, nothing else has to happen. If you're caught up, any of you in this room, caught up in something like this right now, if you'll come up and talk to me privately, we are going to get you out of that, okay? We will get you out of that. This is not dependent upon a CDFI or anything else. We will take care of our family here and do whatever we can. But yes, I would love to say, hey, let's take a trip in there. And I would love for them, Casey, to walk and go, it's not you again, John, is it? Yes, it is. Release 3 more of your hostages, please. Love it. Love to see that happen. Okay? All right, anybody else? Okay, let's move to the next slide about veterans. Sean, can you just stand up just so we can make sure people know? Everybody look back there. There's Sean. Do you know Sean? Yes. Sean, Air Force, retired veteran. He and I are part of a group that Josh started, and we've just been a part of this now for, almost 2 years we've been meeting? Year and a half? Something like that. And I've seen his heart, and he has stepped up to take leadership in this. So this is a little bit about what he has shared with here as well. But when you're in the military, there are rules that limit what rates that they can charge. When they get out of the military, those restrictions are taken away. And there's a ton of stuff that they do to exploit our veterans. There's a program called TAP, which is Transition Assistance Program. And what he wants to do is partner with other Christian organizations, local VA office, which we've met with them. Fantastic people. I'm a veteran, so they're just fantastic. And the family care representatives from the 134th Air Refueling Wing to ensure that every veteran we serve has guidance, benefit support, safe financial pathways, all of this. So what he's looking for are people who are either veterans, which some of you are, or you just care about veterans. That's fine, too. And so he's trying to recruit compassionate, mission-driven leaders to help us deliver course coordination, what we're doing, practical education, one-on-one coaching, and then recovery support for veterans. One of the things that really struck me as well with this is the day that Nathan came and shared with us of how many veterans he knew that had committed suicide from Blount County. The loss, the separation, the isolation, the trauma that they go through, the PTSD of all of these things. I was sharing in my small group tonight. We're talking about sharing how to learn to share your testimony, what life was like before Christ, how you came to Christ, and since then. When I got out of the military, I took a test that they rank you on all sorts of emotional things. One of them was anger. I hit 99. I don't think you can hit 100 on it. From people dying in my own hands and other things that I went through with that, it took Jesus to change that. And without that, our veterans, many of them end up with homeless. Many of them do. And this is what Thomas and Erica are working in our homeless part. All of these things weave and are a part of each other here. And so looking for people to help veteran financial coaching. This is very specific for our veterans. So credit repair, VA loan literacy, somebody can help with benefit navigation. And then peer mentor coordinators. And so we have, and what I'm thankful for, our military people that are here right now. And I would love for our church to be a people who love our current servicemen and women and our veterans as well. Okay, and so that's the big part of the veteran stuff that we're doing. And this is real. I know Kirk and I have gotten to know each other very much. Major, U.S. Marine Corps, amazing career, Top Gun, all these kind of things. My brother retired from West Point. That was his final command. He lives up here in Knoxville, South Knoxville. And I heard it from him, and I think I heard it from you. I don't want to put you on the spot, Kirk, but the loss of identity even. when the world that you live in, and all of a sudden the next day you're not in that world. So for us to come alongside our veterans is a huge, huge thing there. Okay, so that's another one, is veterans. It's that part of our Justice League. So when we break into stations, please talk to Sean if that's an area that interests you. All right, the next one. The slide's wrong. It's going to say Hispanic, and I've already talked. This is Gloria. Gloria, can you stand up? That's her. Hey, for Gloria and her husband there too. Cute couple. The slide says Hispanic. Well, they are cute. I had no other point beyond that, Chris. So just making a statement. Yeah, thank you for your agreement. The slide says Hispanic. I've talked to her about it, and she's cool on this. I want to say immigrant community because it's not just Hispanics. Now, want to open up a can of worms? Let's just talk Hispanic. Let's talk ICE. Let's talk all of these things right now. Man, you can get ticked off really stinking fast. Yeah, I get it. But what we're really talking about is human beings. I'm not asking anybody their status. I'm looking at a human being who needs help. I will tell you this. There are people that have been in our home, and really it's more my wife than me by far, from South Sudan. And so that's why I wanted to use immigrant, not just Hispanic, even though there's a larger Hispanic population than others. There's so many challenges to language. Hey, you're in America. Speak English. Do you understand? It's like the hardest language in the world. I mean, I speak Chinese fluently and English, which means half the world I can talk to. Both of those are stupid hard. Unbelievably hard. It's just the fact that we grew up here. We learned so much of this. Super educated people who struggle to communicate, not because they're not smart, but because our language is so hard. There's language needs, and one of the things that Gloria shared, she made an amazing document of a vision of what she wants to do. But so many things are hard. My wife was working with the one lady she's with, trying to help her get her driver's test and to pass it. It's so hard to do the English. So much is out there. Schools, healthcare, courts, and specifically with the Hispanic community, there's many, many different variations of stuff that doesn't make it up in the census because the questionnaires they're not right. Like they don't ask the right questions, so people have to choose between two options that aren't even reflective of them. Transportation, ID, licensing things, all of these things create barriers to work and life. People get exploited when you're an immigrant. You get taken advantage of. All right, so let's just say, for the sake of it, just so that you're not like mad and shoot me with your arrow eyes for the next 5 minutes, let's just say they're all that are here that are legally. The only thing I'm talking about. Just legal immigrants, got their things or whatever else, okay? And before you start doing too much of the areas, this is my daughter-in-law. So when I say I care, I really care, okay? And so let's say they're all legal. These are still the same challenges. Their immigration status doesn't change these things that we're addressing right here. Housing instability, job security, exploitations, fear of retaliation. Kenny and I sat with the pastor and his wife of a Hispanic church here in our community. And she told us about a lady whose purse was stolen, and you could see it on the video camera, but she was too afraid to go report it to the police. That's the spirit of fear that she said she was living with. And it took her, 2 days, Kenny, before she finally got enough nerve to go to the police to get this resolved. They had it on video even, but they were afraid to go there. Healthcare, mental health, the cost, the complexity of what we're talking about, the language barriers delay care. There's so much anxiety, honestly, right now in mixed status households. There's even stigma culturally around mental health that comes into this. And then there's social isolation, living in parallel to the broader community. Like they're there. We see our immigrant neighbors, but they're not really a part of it. So they're forced to be in their own little social networks. And there's that lack of feeling at home. And I don't know if you've ever felt this before. I have. I was the immigrant. I was the dumb guy that couldn't speak the language. I was the guy that people would laugh at when I would go to 7-Eleven and try to pay a bill, which was actually not a bill. It was just totally like a scam thing. But I didn't know. And so I feel it and I get it. And Gloria, bless you, that you want to make sure that our church is known as a church that loves our neighbors. And so this may mean that we try to do some stuff with our signage. It will mean for Hope Saturday that we need translators. There's a ton of stuff, and I'm so grateful. But she needs your help. And so if that's an area that you're interested in, I would really encourage you to be a part of that one. Jail outreach is the next one. Erica and Thomas, can you guys just stand up just so they can see you all up there so you know who to talk to? There's going to be a little bit of overlap, a couple things here, but in the jail ministry, Erica goes into the Blount County Jail and to the female inmates that are there. They go with 3 or 4 person teams when they're going in at times, and they sit with the inmates in a room from about 6:30 to 8:30, and that's once or twice a month. The goal, they're trying to build relationships and helping people know about Jesus as their Savior, but also just for when they get out, relationships with them. And so they're in the planning stages of starting a group that will actually meet with the inmates when they get released. Sometimes I've heard you say, like, it's sometimes in the middle of the night even. And so being ready for them. When they're arrested. When they get released. So that means being ready for them. Yeah, that makes no sense. Yeah. But I guess that's fine. Homeless ministry. The one that you're involved with right now is The Promise, right? And they meet twice a week with homeless friends. Sundays at 2 o'clock, and there's a meal that's provided, a message that's given there. It's kind of like church in an untraditional manner. And then Tuesdays at 6:30, they provide a meal and fellowship with other homeless friends. If they've got extra food, they go out and they try to find others who could use that food. And so they're building relationships. They're providing for individual needs. And this is all done by volunteers and by donations. If you have a heart for the homeless, I'd love for you to come up and to talk with them. The other homeless one would be part of one of our community ones. That's called A Place to Stay. I know Amy and I tried, and our daughter volunteer there. They do it 4 times a year where they're providing resources for the homeless. So it's a slightly different ministry than the weekly and doing the kind of hands-on stuff as that. But Heather and others there are amazing. That event's called SOS, and there's always a place for volunteers there. Bryce helped with that. I think there's been others from our church. I know Natasha goes and helps and sets up there. So it's another area where you could make an impact in that one. All right? Cool. Any questions up to this point? Yeah.
Sorry, just an extension to this. In my research, because now we are talking about my family,
Okay.
my son-in-law.
Yeah.
There are churches in the area that support reentry. I was never able to find any ministry existing that helped with the folks who've been out for however long, who
Okay.
have that record.
Yeah.
And similar to the language barriers, good luck finding even a minimum wage job, et cetera. So I would just encourage to maybe broaden the scope to think about that group of people as well.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Yeah, and there are some other churches. Listen, we're not, Vineyard isn't the answer to everything. We've had Rio come here and talk to us about some of the stuff that they're doing. I just want Jesus to get praised. I don't care about getting Vineyard logo on stuff. All right? The Lord will bring to us what he trusts us with. He's not in the business of putting good eggs in a bad omelet. So we want to make sure what we're doing is the best we can. But we're not the only things to that. And so thank you. This is exactly what I'm hoping for. We're just pooling our resources. Some of you are going to have a skill and you're going to, hey, this is what I know. Super. Let's figure out a way to get that plugged in. All right, community partners. I'm going to go through these fairly fast. Isaiah House, we're familiar with that one. That's what a wonderful ministry. Children are removed from their homes out of concern for their safety. They're brought many times to child welfare services, but that can be sometimes up to several days on that. And so they don't have anything with them. They're scared. They're lonely. They're hungry. They have dirty clothes. So Isaiah 1:17 provides a comforting home where these kids can be brought instead. It's a place that's safe, it's friendly, there's loving volunteers that are working there. Our church supports them as a ministry. Clean clothes, smiles, toys, snuggly blankets, you name it. That's all a part of that ministry, and that's one of our community partners. So as a church, we financially support Isaiah 1:17. but that doesn't mean that we can't do more, nor that we couldn't be volunteering and helping in other ways there. And so they're just trying to reduce the trauma for children. I think it's super biblical. Like, what a great thing for us to be a part of. Another one is Good Neighbors. And they've come here and met with us and some of our staff. Amy Roberts and I have gone to their offices to see what they're doing. Very impressed with them. They help Blount County neighbors out of temporary crisis. And so they do provide some financial counseling, though as they've talked to us, they're not doing like what we're doing. So they see a very good partnership into what we're doing, like with the CDFI and maybe other things, the box ministry, that can work together. But what they're trying to do as they're doing this is they're trying to help people like, hey, I can't pay my utility bill this month. Okay, they're going to help on those kind of things. Or I need this or that. But there are limits to that, of what they can do. All right? And so, but tremendous stuff that's going on there. Our Hope Saturday event, April 18th. The time's still a little bit to be determined because I just found out that Monte Vista Church is doing a food giveaway where they gave away almost 120-some families. Just pull up, filling up their cars with food. What an amazing thing that they're doing over there, okay? So I praise God for them. But they're doing it the same morning, same time. I kind of don't want to compete. So we might push our thing so that if there's anything, it's just a slight overlap where they can get their car filled with food and then they can come here. And I'll talk Hope Saturday a little bit more. But, yeah, so that's Good Neighbors and what we're doing there. Second Harvest. Some of these ones, community partners that we're talking to, if you talk to Amy Roberts, Amy, if you can stand up, you probably know her, but just in case, so that we can embarrass everybody equally. That's Amy Roberts. You might want to talk to her about the box ministry, but also some of these ones. Isaiah House is fine if you talk to her, I think. Good Neighbors, maybe, if you can handle that one. Okay. The next one is Second Harvest and Community Food Connection. Grady, where are you at? Can you stand up, Grady? This handsome young man, Grady Hill, also part of this group that meets together on this Thursday. Grady has been doing this for quite a while. If you're not familiar with Second Harvest and Community Food Connection, Second Harvest serves 18 counties in eastern Tennessee, tons of partner agencies, a lot of senior outreach food things, mobile pantry, food for kids, food empowerment. I was amazed to hear about the food insecurity and just how much there was of our youth even in this this community of right where we're at. And so anyway, that's one part to that they do, and that they're really helping people achieve self-sufficiency. That's the goal that they want there, not just temporary food aid. They need volunteers. That's changing all the time, but amazing thing that you could do is you could say, Grady, I'm free, especially if you're free during the week. Is that right? During the week, they have shortcomings of volunteers. If you're like, I'm off on Tuesdays, please see Grady if you would love to do this. Like, you can direct impact. Your hands are on the things that are a blessing to other people. The Community Food Connection has been around since 1991, and their whole goal is that no one in Blount County goes without food. So they're over in Alcoa, and they provide food for 5,000 monthly client visits. That's a lot of people. So it's open to Blount County residents. They're open for food distribution 4 times a week, and they also partner with Second Harvest with Pathway to Hope, I think. All right, did I miss anything, or does that sound about right? Okay. Questions so far about any of these things I've been talking about? Obviously, you can talk to them individually, but these are some of our community partners. All right, the box. Are you familiar with the box? Our church has grown. There's a lot of new people that are here. Aaron, the box was started, you told me this and I forgot. It was something about seeing people or something like that, right? Yeah, when you all started this, refuse to look away. All right? That's what I was trying to share today. Like, let's just see people. Refuse to look away. The box, I think it's because my desk is like 10 feet from Amy Roberts, but I listen to how good she is representing us as a church, and it's hard because you sometimes have the same people calling every week, doing certain things, and she's got to make really tough decisions and stuff on that. But your gifts directly support the box. We just did must-have gifts, and that was a huge part of it. When you gave towards the vehicles, which we have already been able to bless families within our church with, or with these other things, you're directly loving your neighbor. And so the heart of it is to provide practical help in times of financial need. Yes, wisdom, discernment, all of those things, but compassion. And that's what I hear from Amy when she does that. And so, honestly, I'm not sure what areas besides just our generosity, but if there are some things that they can do or whatever else, if you're interested or you just want to know more about what does it look like, please go talk to Amy Roberts. I know I've done several ministries on you, but say which one you're interested in when you talk to them. All right? That's the box. Budgeting, the budgeting is a new thing. So when she talks to somebody, she says, yes, we can help you, but if this is going to be something that you need more than just this one time, we would like for you to come to the church. We'd like to meet you, and we want to put you in touch with a coach. This is, once again, with Gary Mitchell. Gary, I didn't have you stand. You need to stand up, too, there. Yeah. Yeah. In Chinese, we would say, shuai ge, which means handsome. All right? That's handsome right there, shuai ge. That's Gary Mitchell. He's an accountant. Works in financial type stuff. He's really helping lead out in this kind of stuff. And so he's already done that. People have Amy got in touch with him, and then he reaches out to people, and then hopefully good things happen from there. All right, a couple more things here. Hope Saturday is the next one. I just realized, Samuel, I'm not giving you the steal second signs. I guess you're doing great, so thank you, brother. Hope Saturday is born out of the idea that you all are amazing, that God just gifted you with different gifts and talents and history, your stories, and that your neighbor can be blessed because of that. And so trying to identify what are the things that people need, and then what can we do? One of the things, Karen, we haven't had you stand up yet either, so we need you to stand up, Karen. Okay, that's Karen, another one of our pastoral hosts, so you'll see her a lot. Karen brings a wealth of how many years of experience of working in this financial world that we're talking about here. She and Chris Sigmund are power, knowledge stuff right there. And one of the things Karen said, one of our first Justice League meetings was, I wish we could get just an idea of what people can do. Like just a gift inventory of stuff. Not like spiritual gifts like, I have the gift of prophecy, but instead of like, I have the gift of plumbing. That would be great. Like, what do we know that we can call upon each other? And we're not saying do it for free. Okay? So I say, like plumbing. Like, I'm not saying, hey, Kirk, I know you're a plumber. Can you just do all this stuff for free? That's not what I'm saying. That's not what we're asking. But how can we bless our church body by letting the gifts that our church body has be a blessing to others? And so Hope Saturday was born with just that idea where I started like, wow, as I meet so many of you all, I'm amazed at what you can do, the gifts that God has given to you. So this event will have auto repair. There's OBD2 ports. We need people to do that. Now, we have some that have already committed, but we need more. That will help. And we're going to try to set up some tents so that people can pull their vehicles in, and they can look at their vehicles and go, yep, your tires are starting to get worn. You probably need this done. And we're going to bring up advocacy next with John, but he and I had shared a Mexican meal together and made great plans of how we're just going to ask our community for things. I would love to get windshield wipers and all sorts of stuff donated. Just things, oil changes. Once again, we have, I don't know how many oil change places in town. Can you give us coupons for 50% off or something that will help this Alice family better afford what they need there? So we have some mechanics that have agreed to help. One of them is Mike that's right up the road here at Stinnett Auto Body. He's like, yeah, I'll help. But so there's going to be a booklet, and in this booklet, there's a place where you can get your car looked at. Same thing with your health. We have some different doctors and nurses who have said that they will do some health screenings. Okay, we're not going to do blood transfusions or any crazy. We're not going to change your transmission in your cars or whatever else. Like we can't do that. But we're trying to identify what these challenges are, and then help people find the help that they need. And say, hey, we recommend this, or here's a coupon for this, or whatever it might be. Career support is the financial ones. We hope that people could get signed up with the bank. The state of Tennessee has a job placement type of office that have already committed that he's going to come on that day. We have people that have committed to help with resumes and looking through that. That's what they did, was working to help business development for people's resumes to do that. So that's going to be that. And then we'll have tables set up where we're going to either do like a brunch, probably is what it's going to end up. The key thing here is I don't want to do a line. This is our neighbors once again. It's like family. So there's dignity. This isn't a charity event. This is just as much easily me or you or our neighbors coming to this. This is not for our homeless, though they may come, and if we can help them, I want to. This is for that Alice community, that 38%. And so they will come, and we want to serve them at tables. We want to bring the food to them. It's little things like that where I hope we will communicate that we care. Now, even as I say all of this, I feel stress because there's 1,000 details that I am terrible at. And I think it's one of the ways that Satan attacks me is to go, you can't do this, you're not qualified, and you're going to fail. And he usually does it about 2:30 in the morning without fail. So I hear him because he's actually probably right. But it doesn't have to be. All of these things, if the church rallies around it, not once, but like if this becomes part of our DNA, that we're just a church that just helps. Okay, so I don't know if we'll do Hope Saturdays, plural, I don't know. Maybe we'll do it once and that was good, but we won't do it again. But for this event in April 18th, what I hope is that people in our community will go, that church cares. They see us. And so the blessing bags are the last thing. This is going to go into the advocacy part. It says legislator advocacy, but it's not just legislators. This is just simply going to the community going, hey, we love your store. We've got this thing coming up in April where we're anticipating maybe 250 families that could really use a coupon or a discount or this service or something else. Would you donate 10 of them or 1,000 of them? Whatever. Ask big. And then don't blink. That was the key. When Chris and I were talking to a bank, I'd like $1 million. Don't blink, John. Just ask big. So this is the advocacy to go to our community and say, we're not trying to make vineyards and vineyard people. We're just trying to bless the community, and we believe your business wants to do the same thing. Will you help us do that? Okay, and so listings of places where they can get resources. If it's other churches, go over here. You can get some clothing here, or you can do this or that. Whatever we can do to lessen the burden on the people in our community, that's the hope. And so for advocacy, it is rallying people to contact their legislators, but it's also for community support and trying to get donations. And so when you maybe come and you're working with whomever, and you go, you're working with Sean and you're working with the veterans, and you go, we need this thing, this is a situation. If we don't have it, we have a group of people that know that they can go out and ask and find these other people, these trusted friends in our community, because they're there. They maybe go to other churches, but they care. They love our same neighbors. And so that's just the beautiful thing of this. I'll tell you this. I have seen this happen overseas where mission organization and churches work together. That's my other job in that world. And people kept telling me there too, it can't happen. The Baptists will never work with the apostolic over here or whatever else. Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. And it can happen. And so that's what I'm hoping about for us to be able to do these kind of things at a church as well. So, John, will you stand up? There's a Schweiger right there too. All right. So that's John. And if you would be willing to help with this advocacy, I know some of you have already said you want to do that. Please talk to John and say, hey, I'm on your team. All right. They then are going to be contacting you. If you fill out these forms, they're going to contact you because I'm about to go on vacation, which is a scary thing. Every year for the last 8 years, I've done no tumor tour. So I have a type of cancer that's not curable, but right now the tumors are gone. So 8 years ago, I finished my hard chemo, and we took a vacation on a cruise. And we do it every year. We pushed it this year to March instead of January, and it just happens to fall 4 weeks before this event that's keeping me up at night. But we're going to go anyway. All right, so that's what's happening. All right, questions on any of this, because we're about to move to the next part in the last little bit. Yes, sir, please.
My wife is going to be wondering what I'm saying, so she'll correct me.
Okay.
I'm not a veteran, okay? I do know, this is a true story, a veteran that's also a pastor. I've known him for years. He's a veteran. He gets diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and he wants to go to Nashville at the VA hospital. They won't even talk to you, folks. Some of you know that. They won't talk to you unless you have an appointment. And before he could get an appointment, he had to go through a senator or something. And I don't know about all of that, but something needs to be done. He has to go, and the Lord has touched him. He's had 2 or 3 operations, had to go to Nashville. Now, for blood work, he gets a call. You got to do blood work. He has to drive all the way to Nashville to get blood work. It took 15 minutes, but the whole trip from here, present time, was over 4 hours with traffic and getting there and waiting. We need to do something about that.
Yeah. So
I'm going to just leave that there. Some of you face that because you can go to one of our hospitals, you can go right over here, but it's because of the system. Yeah. Enough said.
Nope. Sean, if there's Sean in the back, and what Sean can do, it sounds like that this pastor needs to talk to Nathan, because you're not supposed to travel more than an hour away to do some of these kind of things. But it's a system. My dad's 90, is turning 90 next week, and is a veteran. And there is so much of the system that is hard. It is so hard. And I have to go in there at times as a veteran and say, I need this test done and whatever else. And the doctor goes, okay, and they just do it. Like, without ChatGPT and a little bit of drive, what would you do? And so Nathan is an advocate for your friend. And it's not right, and I hear you, okay? I hear you. And Sean can help you, get you connected. He can get you Nathan's phone number. Doesn't mean everything will be perfect, because my claim was denied as well for my cancer, which was proven to be from exposure. So there's still things that are out there, but I'm saying there's a champion that wants to help your friend. All right, so please talk to Sean before we're out here, will you? Okay. Yes.
So just for your friend, one of the things is it's ridiculous, but you have to register with each individual VA. They don't have
Yeah.
a system where say you're in another state and you need VA care, you couldn't actually go to that VA to get care because you have to register with each VA. So if he was registered with Nashville and not Knoxville, that would be part of why he wouldn't be able to.
Yep. So let's get some help. Yeah, if you guys could help them there. Did you know Nathan? You know who I'm talking about with that? Okay, good. Nathan's fantastic. Ex-Navy, so yes. Hey.
So I had a question about the Hope Saturday.
Okay.
With it being on the weekend and a lot of the people have children, are we going to have some
Yes.
kind of activity for the children to do?
Great question.
And do we need volunteers for that?
Yes, we do, and great question, and I failed to mention that, so thank you very much. Yes, we're hoping to have people that will do stuff for kids, and we're going to have people that are just rovers trying to bless people. Now, that one's good. We got to be a little careful, because if you put like 10 crazy Vineyard people walking around going, "Can I bless you?" That's going to scare everybody away. So they got to be really, really good at that. But just having conversations, seeing people, yes, we need that, and we will need volunteers. And now I've moved beyond what I know after that point, but yes, we will, and yes, we do.
We got you.
Okay, fantastic. If you can go to the last slide there, Mr. Samuel. Yes, Erica. Yeah. That's a great idea. It scares me to death, but it's a great idea. I'm afraid that we're going to have more people than what we can handle. And my biggest fear is actually to have to turn people away. And so for this first one, I'm trying to limit it to word of mouth. So the Family Resource Center, all of the officers that work at the schools, all those ladies, Deb, Skylar, and others have said they will talk to them. And we may put flyers up in laundromats or whatever else on it. But I'm actually hoping it's almost just word of mouth, because I'm actually afraid the demand will outstrip what we can do. So I would love to do that. I want to make sure that they know, though, that we're doing it. So there needs to be conversations take place there, and we'll see on it. Yes?
This might fall under your last bullet there, but in the communities of neighbors that you mentioned helping and we're kind of organizing and rallying around, I did not specifically see our Black community, and so I don't know that we're assuming that they would be in the overall Alice category. Obviously, we don't have the language barriers,
Right, but they are
but they
represented-
face
Good point.
all the other
Yeah.
injustices that any other minority community does here.
You bet. And they are more representative of the Alice community. So it's a great point to bring up with that. If you look at the Black community, they are higher represented, and especially in certain areas within our county, even greater on that. But there's a big one that's called other. And so I think that would be one of those. Because the key here is we can't start something unless one of you want to be the champion and lead on it. All right? And then we have to be really wise, because we've had people come up saying, hey, I want to do this, and they also want to do 20 other things. And so we have to just be kind of wise about what we're doing here. And that's why hopefully it's not just one person, it's multiple people working together. All right? So the last slide is stations, I believe. And if you could bring that one, this beautiful map. For whatever time you want to now, I would ask you, this is how you sign up for any of these stations. It's the same thing. There's a couple questions in there, like, I'm interested in doing this. It's just type it in there. Say, I'm interested in this, or I have a passion for this, or whatever. But if you have more questions, financial will be right over here, Hispanic and immigrant right in here. If you got other ideas, come right up over here. Okay, I'll be standing right here at that one. Hope Saturday down on that end. You can see the sign. I don't need to read everyone. You can read. All right. So
See the bottom right.
the bottom right, you can't see it. So there you go. That one's the advocacy.
Okay.
All right, so that would be way back there. That's you, John, back on that part to that one. Okay. I hope this is giving you some ideas of where we're wanting to go. Answer your questions. You can ask more. We can't make this thing be a push. This needs to be part of who we are. And so this means that you all, I'm encouraged that you were here. Honestly, I didn't know who would come or if anybody would. Like, I canceled my small group, so they maybe felt guilty to not come. I was hoping for at least them. So I'm just glad you all are here. Please get plugged in and then tap on somebody else's shoulder and say, you know what? I think you would love serving with me on this. And if this church, if 200 to 300 people in this church were to actively start to serve our community and our neighbors, the impact would be that we are a church of 3,000 to 4,000 people. That's what it would feel like. 80% of the work is done by 20% of the people many times. If you raise that number, the impact is as if the church is just exploding. And so that's what I'm hoping for, is that you will walk with Jesus and love your neighbor. All right? So, all right, we'll just put our hands in here in the middle, and we'll say team on three, and then we're gonna break on that, and you're gonna go to your stations. Sound good? All right, or we could end into prayer because that would be more spiritual, but I like this one. Ready? All right, team on three. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you all for coming. All right. Homeless is going to be on the community partner side of that. And your construction stuff on that, that would be another.
Okay.
But if we can find enough people that can do it.
By trade, I'm a mechanic, so.
Oh, are you? Okay.
I actually just started, used to be in automotive. I just switched to heavy equipment.
Okay.
But I can fix anything.